once again on WrestleMania weekend. Red Jen right back with you to review the latest pro wrestling news and results. Wrestling Rants, right here, baby. Yeah. Stand and Deliver. NXT just got done. I watched it live, and what a fucking show this was as well. Competing right up there with the quality of the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show. Damn. Definitely harking back to the days of NXT takeovers. Stand and Deliver finally. This has been a couple of years now that they've been doing this. Last year's didn't, to me, really deliver. This one definitely delivered tenfold from top to bottom. A solid show for sure. A really early show on the West Coast. They basically started the match at about 9:30 California time. They did a pre-show match as well as everything on the main card, which started at 10 a.m. right from the former Staples Center, and now it's the Crypto.com arena or something like that. Pretty hot crowd for a early morning type of deal, that's for sure. This was still a relatively hot crowd, and like I said, what a show. Gotta give NXT props. They finally have found their footing, and they really got some good momentum coming out of this show for sure. Let's get into it then. Pre-show, they did the Chase U versus Schism match on the pre-show. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch this. I had just had to look back at results on this, so no star rating on this one. I hadn't seen it yet. This match was the debut of course, Dwayne Rock Johnson's daughter, Ava. So she was in this match. I had read some information that she got some time in the ring, so definitely doing some spots. This was, of course, a match to determine who would basically take over the Chase U gimmick or university kind of thing. So Chase U did win on a teased Duke Hudson turn. That ended up not happening. It was basically a double swerve. Duke Hudson turns back on the Schism. It's kind of as harkened to maybe DDP back in the day, acting like he was going to go to the NWO and then turns back on the NWO after he puts on the shirt and everything. Similar to that in this match, where Duke Hudson got even a Schism shirt, was putting it on. Everything was moving forward, then he turned on Schism. And that was it. Frontliner to Reed. Hudson got the pin on this one. Then we get into the top of the hour main card for Stand and Deliver. They kick it off with the ladder match for the women. And my goodness, this match. These poor women, particularly Tiffany Stratton, were putting their bodies on the line. There was a lot of wicked spots with the ladder. A lot of kind of scary looking spots as well, scary bumps in this match. Certainly everybody put their best foot forward and everybody looked really strong in this match. This was an excellent ladder match. Let's compare it to the Ring of Honor match. Maybe a few pegs down from that, but I mean, this was the best ladder match I think I've seen the women have maybe in a very long time in NXT. I'll leave it at that. I went a solid 4 stars for it. Indy Hartwell ended up winning the title and really kind of uniting with Dexter Lumis at the end of the match. This was a big deal, got a big pop. It caught me off guard. I was not expecting it to happen where Index, as it were, would be reforming and he would help her climb the ladder to get that title after a big spot with Tiffany Stratton doing basically a really high somersault dive onto everybody else on the floor, which basically nobody hardly caught her. It was not looking good on that spot, but there was a lot of other stuff going on in this match. JC Jane showed up to cost Gigi Dolan part of the match. Like I said, many wild spots. Damn. 4 stars on this one. A nice surprise finish as well. I kind of expected, frankly, Stratton was probably going to win. I think she's probably next in line to win the title, maybe quickly from Indy Hartwell, hard to say. Because Indy Hartwell, to me, was kind of like not foreseeing that one to have her go over. But it was a cool moment with Dexter Lumis and everything. I liked it, 4 stars on that match. So Daniel Cormier at ringside. We played a little bit into the Creed brothers as they had the tag title match next with Gallus, the Creed brothers, and Stax and D'Angelo. And, you know, it was, I don't know, there were just some spots that were clunky. There was particularly a spot where they were trying like a triple stack where 2 guys were on shoulders, basically 3 in a row going up, and the one guy from the Creed brothers was going to do like a cannonball dive on him. He completely missed him, and then they took a bump that looked very not good. I think one of the guys from Gallus, the coffee guy, maybe got hurt. I don't know. It just didn't look good at all. It was ugly. It definitely deterred from the momentum of this match. Gallus ended up winning when Joe Coffey, the brother of Mark Coffey, who they had like kind of a trio team going on in NXT UK. Well, he showed up here and helped Gallus win the match, particularly against D'Angelo and Stax. Stax took the fall after what I would call like a drive-by kick where they had him elevated. And the one guy gave him a kick and kind of threw him around. It was a cool finish that Gallus has. But this match was just, I went 2 1/4. It was just a definitely bit off. The big spot outside the ring, how botchy that was too, was pretty incredible. The big long Cora Jade vignette, I think this was for people that had commercials on Peacock maybe. I don't know, there was really not much substance to it. They didn't really say when she's coming back, but apparently she's nursing an injury. Pretty Deadly was going to interview Braun Breaker. They basically got a little bit scared to do so. Backstage segment. NXT's North American title was next in a 5-way scramble that was fire. This was so good. I went 4 1/4 on this one, maybe even legend into the 4.5 range. Everybody had their working boots on here. This was the debut of NXT of Dragon Lee. Oh man, he was absolutely shining in this match. Wes Lee, the Dragunov, who was absolutely in another stratosphere in this match. Everything was really physical, really stiff. McDonough and Dragunov getting into it again. What else can you say about this match? Axiom brought it with the high spots from him. This was all action, all out, must-see match on WrestleMania weekend right here. And Wesley went over in a pretty contrived, but it worked spot where Dragunov was going to kind of effectively knock out, I believe it was Dragon Lee. And then right at the same time, Wes Lee gets that, I believe it's a cyclone kick, a cardiac bicycle kick, basically knocking out Dragunov for the finish. What a hot match this was. This was a hell of a match. Check this out for sure. If you're looking for some of the best stuff from Mania weekend, this was the best, biggest and best standout match so far on the WWE side this weekend. No question about it. On top of, as well, that ladder match from the women. Definitely worth checking out too from this show. As well as the next match worth checking out. This is match 5, the unsanctioned match with Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller. 4 1/4 stars I gave it. Again, a must-see match on this show. This was so well put together. There was a lot of hardcore spots involving chairs, particularly the stuff with getting Candice LeRae involved in it was a nice added element of drama to the match. Great near-fall sequences where you thought Waller literally was going to get this match, and maybe argue maybe he should have, but I do think that this feud will probably kick back up once Waller moves up to the main roster, because these guys have chemistry, man. They are like peanut butter and jelly in that ring. This was a real good match. Finish was basically Gargano went off on chair shots on Waller. Very, again, physical match, similar to the previous North American title match and the ladder match. And at that point, then Gargano kind of puts a necktie chair spot, throws a chair on his neck, gets another chair, wallops it off. I think he did this in a match against Ciampa as well. Then got the Gargano lock on him for the finish. Just tremendous fucking layout of this match. Great stuff. Check it out. Gargano over Waller. Good shit all around. Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis also came out after the match where they kind of reunited that whole faction. What was it? The Way? I believe it was called in NXT back in the day. So that was cool as well. Great match, like I said. Pre-Deadly's in the back with Stax and D'Angelo. They set up a match with those two teams on NXT on Tuesday. Then we get to the NXT Women's Tag. I'd say the low point of the show at about 2 stars on this one for Isla Dawn and Alba Fire winning the tag titles. NXT Women's Tag titles from Kiana James and Fallon Henley. I'm still in the storyline, but this match was just not... it was not flowing well. They were off. The two teams were just not on the same page in a lot of spots. It was just an ugly kind of match from a live perspective. Not being there live, but watching it live. It just was just not there. The finish was a little contrived somewhat. They were going to do a thing where Kiana James wanted the one guy that she's involved with, I can't even remember, was it Jensen? Yeah, I think it's Jensen, to hand over this loaded purse, presumably to win the match. He was hesitant to do it. Fallon Henley and Brooks Jensen, or I can't remember who was who on that team, saying to don't do it. Anyway, long story short, that costs him the match. Kiana James takes the fall after a backstabber and senton combo, and that was it. So we'll see where the storyline goes from here. Who knows, but I'm still into it, but they're kind of hanging on a thread with it a little bit here too. We'll see what they do on Tuesday. Main event time, elaborate entrances in this one. Braun Breaker had this Beware Dog kind of gimmick going on, and Carmelo Hayes had an LA Laker tribute going on for his entrance that got super over in the home of the LA Lakers. And we had a new champion finally crowned on NXT. Braun Breaker had that belt for almost an entire year. And here we go, new champion Carmelo Hayes. Good match. I put it at 4 stars solid. This was excellent action bell to bell. There was a spot that Carmelo Hayes missed on a springboard spot that was a little off, but otherwise this match flowed pretty well. The near falls near the end picked up, and Carmelo Hayes got that top rope leg finish for the win, and the crowd was loving it. Crowd didn't really turn on Braun Breaker much in this match show either, but Carmelo Hayes was massively over with this crowd because of the LA Lakers gear and the homage to Kobe Bryant as well. He had number 8 on his knee pad. So all in all, just a great way to end the show. I like that they switched the title to Carmelo Hayes. I think it's time. Braun Breaker on top is starting to get pretty stale. And let's face it, Braun Breaker is going to be showing up on the main roster probably as soon as Monday night or at the very latest on SmackDown on Friday. So it's just a changing of the guard. This is how NXT is. This is the way of the brand, and so be it. I almost wonder if Roxanne Perez also will be moving up the main roster since she got to basically lose the women's title in the opener, but not really. She didn't really have an effect in the finish, so I kind of think that's their way to get Roxanne Perez on the main roster, as well as Braun Breaker. Those are the two standouts. At this point, there may be more they pull from. But based on the results of this show, those would be the two I would say. It's slightly possible they could move Grayson Waller up, but I think they're still going to give a little bit of time on that. Otherwise, based on all the finishes, I don't really see anybody else that would be called up at this point. So expect Braun Breaker, though, and Roxanne Perez, more than likely, coming up Monday on Raw, or maybe even on SmackDown on Friday. We will see for sure. Okay, doke. NXT Stand and Deliver was a great show. Whereas to compare up to Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, this was still pretty strong. I would go, this was a solid A to A minus show. Compared to Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, right up there. A solid main event, similarly to that. They had both great ladder matches. There just was a nice variety on both shows. Really, we're getting spoiled so far WrestleMania weekend here. And the big question is, how will night one go of WrestleMania tonight? We're going to talk about that next. WrestleMania preview and predictions coming up right here, just hours before WrestleMania 39. Come on back, wrestling. Rants, baby!